Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas. This is, of course, our instant react show. Tonight, of course, New Mexico United went out to Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia, and took home a 3-1 win over the hated Loudoun United after their 1-0 win a couple years ago.
No, I didn't hate them. I did not like their goalkeeper, and I did not like the ref.
I think we can all agree on that. There it is, folks. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we have Jacob Terrell, baby Maggie, and special guest joining us again for the first time this week, my son Logan.
Hello.
There you go. Logan wanted to pop in and help out with the instant react show tonight. So
Maggie's leaving.
Maggie's
Bye,
leaving.
Maggie.
Okay. Bye, Maggie. So, let's get right into it. We'll start with Logan tonight. Logan, we listened to a little bit of the game on the radio. We got to watch a little bit of the game here at home. Who to you stood out as a really good player tonight?
Moore was pretty good today.
Moore was pretty good. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I mean, Jacob, what did you think of Santi's performance?
Oh, solid. Solid for sure. He kind of been the story all season with him. He's putting in the effort, getting in decent positions. He was integral in the first goal for sure. And he's not going to show up on the score sheet or anything with it, but I think those moments will be coming soon.
Yeah, great play there in the midfield by Santi to help create that first goal. Got an assist on Bees, I believe. Bees' goal.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
Played a great through ball forward, put Bees in great position. What do you think it is that Santi does well, Logan?
Mostly getting the ball to the goal.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something that he's certainly been working on. Something we've come to love about Santi in his time here with the club, and it's something that it's kind of coming along this season. We've talked about it off and on. Yeah. Who else? Was there anyone else that you thought played really well today?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay, that's perfectly okay. Do you think Alex Tambakis had a good game today?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did pretty good, huh? Yeah. So unfortunate there at the end with the penalty. And Jerry is kind of maybe here. I don't know.
He will not be here for 5 minutes.
Okay. David Carl in the chat. David, hopefully you're doing well. Awesome night for the lads in yellow. Jacob, for you watching this match after what we talked about last night on the podcast, did the guys show you what you needed to see tonight on the road?
Yeah, I think so. The one thing that I've noticed, especially this match, was and to an extent the last match. Zach has really preached about, possession and building up out of the back. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second game in a row that we've won, but it's also the second game in a row that we have lost the possession battle, which I'm perfectly fine with. Mm-hmm. And we were able to counter like I have always thought we could counter. And so seeing that kind of stuff, if we can maybe get a little bit better in possession and be able to create some chances from building out of the back, but being able to do that and counter like we have been the last two games is going to be key to being able to win not win every match, but be in every match, because there's going to be some matches that we have the possession and we're going to have to be able to find a way to crack a low block and score goals in that too. But when you come out and Loudoun is a very high pressing team, we were a very high pressing team. The first 30, 35 minutes of this game were pretty chaotic up until basically after that goal. And then it kind of settled down for a little bit, but Loudoun was up on the front foot, pressing high. We would give possession back to them, settle into a block. They'd have to pass it back. We'd start pressing high. It was kind of all over the place. A couple half chances here and there until that opener, and so at this point I forgot what the question was. I just started rambling because I'm known for that. At the end of the day, it was exactly what maybe not exactly what I wanted to see. Right in getting very iffy red card to me, meaning he'll miss the next match, which happens to be in San Antonio, is not fantastic. But other than that, there was, I mean, that was, I guess Raiden that was in Raiden's control. Technically, he couldn't have breathed on him, I guess. But at the end of the day, what are you gonna do there? We move on. So David said, from Zach, we're appealing the red card. I could be wrong, but I believe I have heard. I believe it was USL. I could be, maybe I'm mistaken at all, but I don't know if you can appeal a second yellow red card.
Straight reds you can. Second yellows, I believe the media guide says second yellows you can't.
Yeah, and that was a second yellow red, not a straight red. So I don't think we'll be appealing or we'll be winning that. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. I can be hopeful. But that was definitely soft for sure. So you know what? Let's just get that out of the way real quick. We'll start with the negative, so we can talk about all the glorious goals that we did score and the good play that we did have. It was a crap yellow. The Loudoun player took a very heavy touch. In my opinion, he took a very heavy touch. Knew he wasn't going to be able to get to it and do anything with it. He knew Raiden was coming up. He slows down a hair. Raiden grazes his arm. Maybe has his arm in front of the Loudoun's arm just a little bit. And then the Loudoun guy just says, "Oh, I'm going down to see what happens here." And if it was just a penalty, I might not be as upset about it. But with it being the penalty, being sending Raiden off, Raiden missing the next game, it's bigger than just a goal that made it 3-1 instead of 3-0. And because of that, it's just really hard to swallow, a Solomon Asante type flop in the box to draw a penalty there. And it's just, that part does really suck.
So I do want to correct what we said here a moment ago. It does say within 24 hours after the completion of a match, a team may request a review of a red card or the second yellow card.
Okay, good.
If a player or staff receives 2 yellow cards in a match to rectify a case where a serious and obvious error has occurred. Now, in order to do this, the club, I believe there is a fee that the club has to pay in order to have that done. But
if Zach says we're appealing the red card, then I'm assuming that fee will be taken care of somehow, and we'll see. Yeah.
Just like the Austin Yearwood red card
a
few years ago against Loudoun.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I'm not confident that we're going to get it overturned just because it seems pretty hard to get these things overturned. You have seen some, but and the problem is there is some contact. Mm-hmm. If there was no contact, okay, but there is like the slightest bit of contact, and I could definitely see them going, "Hey, no, there's contact. He went down. It is what it is. It stands." But we'll see. I hope that. As David says, the league notoriously does not overturn many of these, which is my thought there. But it is worth trying, especially going into San Antonio in 10 days. And our center back, maybe not the deepest position that we have on the roster. As I believe we only have 3 official center backs back there with Seymour, Raiden, and Kelowna. We have seen Hamilton, which you mentioned in the chat. You expect to see Hamilton and Seymour back there, which wouldn't surprise me. But you take that out. I mean, it was 3-0 at that time. You give them a goal. You give them an extra man for the final 10 minutes, and anything can kind of happen. Luckily, we dodged some bullets and made just enough plays to hold on to that 2-goal lead and not let it get any closer than that. And it helped there at the end, a miscue by Loudoun, where they headed it out for a corner for us. And then we were able to play that whole, I'm going to kick it to the big guy in the corner, and we're going to kill time there and see this out that way. And then another kind of turnover by Loudoun that led to a half chance that ended up going out for another corner that ended up being the final kick of the match. So overall, great job defensively. And offensively, being able to handle that Loudoun press, and then and out of possession, be able to win some turnovers and transition beautifully for 3 goals. Which you want to talk about the first one?
Well, before we get into that real quick, wouldn't it be great to have a guy like Timothy Zali right about now?
Yeah, yeah, it would. I would. Which I mentioned that might be a precursor to another move, but that hasn't happened. So, that's a good point. It's a great point.
Yeah. So obviously Zali, we mentioned a couple weeks ago, he was loaned out for the remainder of the season. So maybe we can recall him before next Saturday. Maybe that's an option if the suspension does not get overturned. But you talked about the press from Loudoun. That's something that I was tweeting about over on the 1017 The Team Twitter page. And the press, when Loudoun was coming up really high and really forcing the issue on to New Mexico United, you played soccer, Logan. When the opposing team's coming up at you like that, when they're putting all that pressure on you, what does that do? Like when you play it, does it make you like worried? Does it make you like try to go faster than you normally would and kind of make mistakes? Or what do you think that New Mexico United was doing?
When I played, it kind of made me like feel more like confident to get the ball. Okay.
So you think New Mexico United played confident against the press? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think in a lot of instances, it's a fair way to look at how they played tonight. They handled the press well. They moved the ball around, and they found ways to work through it. Now, obviously, it was in a different manner than what we've seen teams do against us when we attempt to press. But I felt like the game plan that Zach and the guys had coming in, it really seemed to work well against what Loudoun was trying to do, especially when Loudoun was down 3-0. Like they continued to push the issue.
We did.
So,
and it was. I laughed at the color commentator for questioning us pushing the issue. Even when we went up by 2, he was like, "What are they doing?" And then we scored the third, and he kind of shut up about it for a little while until we gave up the goal, and then he was like, "These guys got to sit back."
Yeah,
but we've done that, and it hasn't always worked out well for us. So I think that third goal was huge for us to be able to just put it away, which is something that we haven't really done. I mean, not just this season, but in a lot of seasons, getting that 3-goal lead just kind of eludes us. And a 2-goal lead is great, but they also, there's some stupid saying that says it's like the worst.
2-0 is the
most dangerous lead to protect or whatever. And so getting that third goal is something that we really have needed to do, and being on the front foot that much, even going up 2 goals was, I thought, really, really exciting to see. And I mean, I don't even think that the goal that we gave up was necessarily because of that. We were just defending how we had been defending. They made a good run, and then a soft call, like we said. So it's really just good to see them be out on the front foot that whole time. And it's something that, one of the biggest complaints we've had, or at least I've had, I feel like the podcast as a whole has kind of had this complaint, is, that intensity and that drive to go forward and be on the front foot comes and goes. And you'll see a game like this, and then you'll see a game like RGV for the first 90 minutes where it's like we were allergic to the final third. And so to come out now 2 games in a row and see that is really what I wanted to see. And the fact that we had, the fact that we actually come out on top 3-1 is just kind of the icing on the cake. I'd have been happy with, I mean, I predicted 1-0. I'd have been happy with 2-1. I actually wouldn't have been happy with 2-0 or 3-0 as we talked about in the chat and me jinxing it. But I'm just glad we stayed on the front foot and kept attacking there.
Logan, Jacob talked about New Mexico United being up by 3 goals. And when you play sports, when your team gets up ahead, does that help you play with more confidence as well? And do you think a big win like this against an opposing team. When United's away, they're all the way across the country right now. Do you think that gives them confidence going into their next game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. To the point, my son is.
I like that question. I like that answer. I'm a little nervous that we have this 10-day layoff after having two of our best games. And I kind of wish we'd been able to just kind of keep going, even though we have had a pretty bad stretch of schedule congestion here with the Open Cup and then this Wednesday match this week. So I do think we need a break for the legs and stuff, and I'd rather it just be like a 7-day normal break instead of this 10-day. But we'll see. I can always use that as an excuse if we go to San Antonio and get beat.
Yeah, well, after their 7-0 shellacking of I believe it was Loudoun not Loudoun, Charleston last week, it's a very real possibility. I think we would like. I would like to think that we play better than Charleston did in that match, but you look back at the way that we performed tonight. You look at the opening goal from I do apologize, Logan's
Moreno
from Milano Moreno tonight. Another really well worked goal. It really was. You see the ball come back across the face of the goal. You see Chris Wehan pull it down, square it back up, and in an area where you'd really like to see B shoot that ball. But that last touch to square it back up and get Amando the opportunity there.
Go ahead.
I felt like Amando, in the past, that's probably one that we might see him sky even from that distance. But he played really well tonight.
I was pretty confident in him the way he's been playing to finish that for sure. But that goal, I mean, it starts like way back in the back or way back, like 10 seconds earlier with some good pressing leading to a hot ball that the Loudoun defender can't contain properly. It has a heavy touch. Santi's able to jump on it right away. No, sorry. Wags is able to jump on it right away, touch it over to Santi. Santi's able to carry it forward. The ball from Santi to Wags was a little light. Needed to have a little more oomph on it. But Wags doesn't give up on it. It bounces around. We finally get that whole, we talked about the Monterey Bay goal last week, how it was, ping-ponged around and fell to a Monterey Bay player. Well, that's what happened here. Loudoun gets a touch. Wagner gets a touch. Loudoun gets a touch, but it falls to Wagner again. And he's able to find just like there was that angle of basically showing that from the corner, and the window that Wags has to get that ball between the goalie and the back line to get it to that back post to Wehan is pretty small, and he's able to get it past all them to Wehan. It's a little hard for Wehan to collect, which is I think why we didn't see him shoot it. He does a good job collecting it, but he doesn't get it in position to shoot the ball right away. And so he's able to pick his head up. He reads the play. He does what Wehan does best, which is play make, and sees Moreno right there unmarked. And with that defense all shifting over to Wehan, he's able to just tap it to Moreno, who easily finds the back of the net. I don't think he skies that one even when he's not playing good, personally. He's just too close. But it'd be hard to sky that one over the goal. But just a beautiful play from, 4 different names there. We see Wehan come in like he didn't miss a beat. I mean, he has 2 goals already this season, even though he's only played in like 3 games. He gets the assist on that one. He really made an impact. And now we see, so we saw him and Wagner basically start up top in the Hurst Dolling roles. And so we have Dolling coming in and getting 3 assists in a match. We've got Hurst getting assists and goals in matches. We've got Wehan contributing. We've got Moreno contributing. We've got Rivas with his 4th goal in 4 matches, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Santi's doing things that aren't necessarily showing up on the score sheet, even though he does get an assist tonight. And then Wagner being the head of that spear up there, being in the right spot in the press to get to that loose ball, making the good overlapping run, not giving up on it, finding Weehan on the far post. I mean, just it's probably my favorite goal of the season for all those reasons. And we had a couple good ones in this match that you could look at as goals of the season. They're not bangers by any means, but just really good, well worked team goals. And that one to me was the best of the night, and it's what started us off.
Logan, so Jacob's talking about one of our newer players, Alex Wagner. He's a young kid. He's 18 years old.
Okay.
He went to school in Santa Fe, so he's from New Mexico.
And
Taos, yeah. When you see a younger guy like that, someone he's only 10 years older than you, like, do you think that that's a player that kids like you can look up to and learn from, or you think that's a big deal that he's playing at such a young age?
Maybe like soccer players young as me could probably look up to him.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Another great showing by Alex Wagner. Again, you heard the commentary team talking about it. His work rate, the effort that he's putting in. Listen to our guys on the radio here. I mean, just everyone's talking about Alex Wagner. And just just his work rate, his work ethic. And just seeing how well he moves across the pitch and how well he's doing against guys who've been in the league, for several years. And so. You look at him, you look at, Andres Robles getting some time tonight. These young kids are really going to start driving this team here, I think, the next, couple years. And so this is, and I don't know if you saw, but the U23 roster came out today. Both Legendre boys are on there again. Excited to see that. Excited to see, Gabe Legendre back in the black and yellow. So, I mean, the club's obviously doing something right here. Local talent, local kids. Sergio Rivas you mentioned him picking up his 4th goal in 4 matches. I mean, Sergio is really coming on this season, and this is something that we've been waiting to see from him.
Yeah, Sergio Robles was key in that RGV comeback. But going back to Wagner, the announcer mentioned it. The announcer mentioned it before I saw it, which pissed me off because I like to notice these things. But he had a fantastic run. Well, back up just a hair. Loudoun's back line was, I don't know where they were on that second goal.
Yeah.
So the second goal is a turnover off of a corner, if I'm not mistaken. And basically the whole front 5 for United break forward. And I don't know where anybody for Loudoun is. But Santi dribbles it forward. Alex makes a great diagonal run that draws like the lone defender that's back there with him and leaves acres of space for 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 New Mexico United players for Santi to feed the ball to. Sergio, even though Sergio has scored 3 goals in the last 3 games, he very easily could have got a foot to it. And he made the right choice, the smart choice of letting it roll past him to Weehan, who had a better angle and more space to operate. And Weehan does what Weehan does and elevates it over the keeper's right-hand side into the side netting. And so just a atrocious defense by Loudoun, but great awareness by Wagner to make that run. Great awareness by Santi to make the pass. Great awareness from Rivas to let that go through. And then a great finish by Weehan, which he's been known to do for 4 or 5 years now. So another really good goal.
Career goals.
Yeah. And so I really, really just was super excited about the way we were able to attack. And too many times we've seen in those instances, Moreno, for instance, I'm going to pick on him, even though he's been playing fantastic the last few games. I mentioned it in the Orange County game. We had scenarios like that where we were able to be on the front foot and push the ball forward and have numbers. And too many times we would see a Moreno or a Rivas or maybe even for sure a couple times this year, earlier Santi, where they wouldn't get their head up in time to see the pass. Maybe Rivas would have put a foot out thinking it was coming to him and messed that up, and we wouldn't end up even getting a shot off. But with the confidence that we're playing with after the last few home games and then the RGV comeback, you take Austin, kind of throw it out the window. They were just a better team that night. We're really playing with a lot of confidence, and that kind of breeds to me just the proper decision making. When you're confident that you're going to let this Rivas is confident he's going to let this ball go, and Weehan's going to get on the end of it and finish it. Even though Weehan was just coming back, Rivas had the confidence in saying, "Hey, it's you. You got this. It's all yours." And so seeing them mesh like that is huge. And don't be surprised if I predict 4-0 us over San Antonio, depending on how much I've had to drink that night when we.
Well, you have been called out by the club's Twitter account.
I did.
Yeah, you got called out. So
thanks to our buddy Tom, for throwing it out there. And Tom, I've been meaning to get back to you on Twitter there. I actually was conservative this week and only predicted 1-0. Earl and a lady that I don't know if I can name or not predicted 3-0. And so it wasn't me this time, but don't worry. If our offense continues to play like this, I will at some point, like when we play, I don't know, maybe when we play Orange County again, if they're still trash, or Las Vegas, or Detroit City. Detroit City is probably the one I'll do.
Probably. Yeah.
I might call a 9-0 score line there and see.
All right. Well, we are running close to half an hour here, so I do want to ask Logan, since Logan won't be with us next week. So Logan, right now, New Mexico United has not lost in their last 4 games, at least in the USL Championship.
Okay.
Next Saturday they play against San Antonio. What do you think is going to happen in that game? Do you think New Mexico United can pull out a win?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Hopefully.
What? Hopefully. All right.
I kind of expected a question.
Yeah, you expected a question there? Okay, good. Because that's what I do. I try to ask questions of people and to keep the conversation going. So,
that's my answer too, Logan. By the way, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. What do you think the score might be next weekend?
5-2.
5-2.
5-2.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Fantastic
Yes.
prediction.
Yes.
If it's actually 5-2, I'm gonna be amazed.
Yes.
We would all be amazed if it was 5-2.
If it's 5-2, you're coming on the pod every week now.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to make that work. Huh?
I'm a futuristic person.
You might be. You very well could be if you predict that score line. So that would be pretty cool. But yeah, again, great night for New Mexico United picking up a win on the road. We talked about the road form so far this season. Glad to see them, get out. And even though they started a little bit slow, they did pick it up. They played well for the vast majority of the match. And so again, 4 matches unbeaten in the league. I think this is, I think RGV might be, like you said, might be that real turning point. And the club, I think we've got a really good slate of matches coming up. I think San Antonio is going to be a really good test next weekend, which obviously we'll talk more about on Tuesday night. But yeah, I don't have anything more to say tonight. Jacob, do you have any closing thoughts before you get us out of here?
I just want to mention the third goal real quick because I don't want to. We mentioned Rivas scoring it. I believe Rivas scored off a rebound last week or on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Moreno with a heavy shot, similar to Saturday against Monterey Bay, that keeper can't handle. Again, defense just kind of, there's like 5 Loudoun guys just kind of standing there looking at it. And Rivas is able to beat him to it, put it in the back of the net for his 4th goal in 4 matches in USL play. Coincidentally enough, what else did you mention about those 4 matches? Unbeaten in those 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rivas and Mondo and Santi are playing well, we're gonna be hard to beat because the middle of the attack with Weehan, Darling, Hurst, Wagner, they're going to be consistent. It's going to come down to that wing play and that Rivas, that attacking mid behind Weehan or behind the other number 9 or the false 9 or the number 10, whatever you want to say. So Rivas in that 8 position. It's going to come down to what those guys do, and when they're playing well, I think our offense is going to be really, really tough to keep out of the back of the net week in, week out. So just want to shout out to everybody that contributed to the goals and make sure that Rivas and Moreno got their due there on that goal. And just overall, great play, great showing going cross country to
on the short rest. No doubt.
Yeah. Cross country on 3 days. and to come out and put up probably our best performance in the attack, I would say, just with how clinical we were and the confidence that we were playing with. I still think Monterey Bay was probably our better overall game. But yeah, just fantastic. And I'm a little bummed that we're not playing Saturday, but we'll be able to enjoy the weekend and watch some other teams, and then come back on Tuesday, kind of touch on this game a little bit, maybe with Earl, and then look forward to San Antonio, and maybe mention some other games that we watched this weekend. We did move into the playoff, above the playoff line. We knocked Phoenix out, which is always nice. At the moment, we're sitting on 14 points through 9 matches. That's equal with Oakland. We are 2 behind Colorado Springs and 3 behind San Diego, with a match in hand on both of those teams. So like I said, Tuesday, like I said yesterday, I think that, 4 through 10 is going to be real jumbled. And so getting 3 points on the road against an East Coast team is huge for that. And I'm just happy to be able to go to the standings and not see us at the bottom anymore.
Yep. Always a good thing to see. So
yeah, that's it for me. Logan, I appreciate you, buddy. That was great having you on. Anytime you're at your dad's, convince him to keep to where you can stay up a little later and you can join us on the regular pod.
Okay.
Cool. He was just like, yeah, I can do that. No problem.
Easy.
Yeah.
As long as it's with this, he'll probably.
Yeah. They might be able to figure it out. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Seth, anything else? You good?
I'm good, man. Just
Cool.
I get just a fantastic night, catching United and picking up another 3 points.
Yeah, and I want to shout out to Zach crowd real quick, because I do think the players are like, screw these guys. We don't want him gone. And they're starting to play harder for him and pick up. We're seeing the things that Zach has mentioned, other than like possession and building up out of the back. We've just seen those things kind of come around, and like I said, hopefully they continue. So we'll get a weekend off of watching United, but we will be back Tuesday, like I said, at our normal time at 9, with or without Earl. We'll see. And we'll talk about San Antonio and look forward to that. And so until then, guys, somos unidos, and let's go 3 points. It's great.